Our buddy Max says that he's boring and uninteresting, and he's wanting to know how can he become more of an interesting person to the people in his lives. Apparently, he begins speaking with friends and family, and it always seems like they just kind of glaze over with boredom every time he starts speaking. And he's wondering, like, what does it take to be one of the most fascinating men in the world, right? Like that beer commercial. How do we become more fascinating to other people? And the fact of the matter is, in order to become interesting to others, be interested by others. One of the things that is most attractive to other people is your ability to speak with them where they're at. So if you want people to think you're interesting, it begins by you first putting in your interest. You first afford them your interest in the things that they're interested in. And one of the ways to really navigate that skillfully is to either have a large array of different ideas by subjecting yourself to many different books, philosophies, ideas, always expanding your base of knowledge, at least a little bit in each area. Like, you should know what's going on, and that'll give you an opportunity to sort of like navigate with someone as you're moving towards them and they're bringing you into their world. Or if there's someone that you really like, if there's someone in particular, a woman or someone else who you're really wanting to develop some sort of relationship with, you find out everything you can about what interests that person, and you hold conversations about that with that person. I spoke about this, I think, last week in a video, where when you begin speaking with someone and you ask the inevitable question, what is it that you do? You always follow up with, well, how'd you get into that? Well, that's fascinating. How did you get into that? Well, tell me a little bit more about this. Tell me a little bit more about that. You go with being interested in order to have other people see you as interesting. And the more that you have at your disposal to share with them in their direction, the more fascinated they will be with you. We tend to think that we're fascinating by having a lot of stuff ourselves and then vomiting it on people, and that might be what you're doing right now. I've got all these great things I want to talk about, and you spit it up and vomit all over people with it, and that's always offensive. But when you go and you're a little bit more yielding, you say, hey, what are you interested in? Tell me a little bit more about that. Oh, that's fascinating. I once read a book, something about that. Did you know such and such? And then you dance with that person on their ground. It's a far more powerful and resourceful place to proceed from, as opposed to always asserting and being aggressive with your language and conversation. Good luck, dude.